Hey,
we're back. We're here.
We're back. Welcome back, everybody. We are going to jump into the 7 titles announced by Kraft for the new OJC series. So we're going to jump into it in a second. But Chris, Felipe, how are you guys doing?
Good, man.
Doing great. Yeah. Finally, great announcement coming.
Yeah.
Very exciting. Very exciting lineup of titles, I think.
Oh, excellent.
Now, here's a question. Is it still the new OJC series, or is it just the OJC series at this point?
I say new OJC. You have to differentiate because it's just too different.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think it's the new because it's following the trend, right? Everything they're doing it with Kevin Gray and putting the OB strips back because the most recent ones did not have the OB strips.
Oh,
Yeah. So I have the press release here. I could quickly show it. So Kraft announced today 7 titles. We're going to get into each of them. High level, there's 3 Savoys. This is the first time they're releasing Savoy in the new OJC series. They're doing Sonny Rollins +4, so that's Clifford Brown's session as well. We have Wess Montgomery on Riverside, and then 2 other prestige titles. So we'll get into all the details there. But before we do, we just want to also note the manufacturing is going to be from the original tapes, all 7, all AAA, Kevin Gray, coherent. It's going to be pressed at RTI, and they have tip-on jackets that come with OB strips. So, cool. Yeah. All right, before we get into it, any thoughts on OJC in general? Felipe, what do you think of the series?
I think it's a great series. Some reissues really deserve to be done again. And I think it's really cool that they're starting to get their toes into the Savoy catalog. Right? I mean, it's one of the most in-demand ones. They're probably some of the rarest records to find, especially their reissues that they had in the 60s and 70s. They did not have the RVG mastering, so because all those stampers are lost. So I think it's really good that they're doing now at a high level, high end. Because besides Japanese pressings, you cannot get very good Savoys. So, yeah, which is an interesting label too, based on they were all over the place, right? But they put so many new artists on the map, which I think was a great thing they did. And I'm glad to see Savoys back and OJC. This record is only fantastic, great artwork. I think it's a delight for everybody that's looking for records from the Concord catalog at this point.
Absolutely, Savoy's hugely important catalog for me. They put out early Charlie Parker, all the bebop guys, just really great early stuff. And then, like you said, Felipe, they continue with some really killer titles. So we'll definitely get into it. And I think, the original jazz classics back in like the 80s, I think that there's another label, Savoy Jazz Classics, and I think they put out the Savoy. So it was under like a different project, I believe.
There wasn't very many of them either, I don't think.
Okay. And then Savoy also had another reissue, or reissues in the 70s with different covers. They were kind of almost like I don't know, they were like informational covers.
Yeah.
But those are good titles too. I have a number of those, and those are pretty nice to have.
Oh, for sure, yeah. So,
all right, without further ado, let's jump into it. Hold on, here we go. All right, so the first title. Actually, I just did want to talk about release dates. So we're getting 2 titles October 24. So the first 2 we get in. We'll do this chronologically. So there's 2 titles coming out the end of October. There's 1 title coming out November 14, and 2 titles coming out November 21, and then there's 1 title announced for December. So it'll kind of take us out through the end of the year, these 7 titles. Cool?
Yes.
All right, so how we're going to do it is I was able to find wiki pages as well as the Discogs pages for both for all the titles. So we're just going to use this for session dates, location, producer, and personnel, as well as song list. So this first title is going to be Yusef Lateef Jazz Mood. And this is a 57 session in New York City. It has Yusef on tenor, flute, argol, and scraper. Curtis Fuller, trombone, tambourine, Hugh Lawson, piano, Ernie Farrow, bass and rabat, Lewis Hayes, drums, and Doug Watkins, percussion, finger cymbals. Isn't Watkins a bass player?
Yes.
Okay. All right. So and they're doing all Yusef Lateef compositions on this. So what do you guys think of this?
I like this album. I think Yusef, he was a guy that little distinct, right? He came from Tennessee. He moved to Detroit. He met all those guys like Elvin Jones, Kenny Burrell. He studied. He went to university. So he was always like a very open-minded guy. He could play multiple instruments, and he was able to extract sounds that people are not doing it. Even like playing very bluesy songs, ballads, as I think this album states. And I think Jazz Mood is a very appropriate title. He works with moods. There's great piano bass playing in this record. I think setting up moods, and he's just like playing over it. I think it's a really, it's just super like open, but at the same time, there's a very solid blues basis on those tracks in this record, and he kind of explores a little bit of different sounds with his multiple instruments there. So I think it's one of his, to me, one of the Yusef's records that I like the most.
Yeah. It's funny. I saw this list and I was impressed by the Savoy tiles. I thought, echoing what Charles said earlier about Savoy, that's cool. But I wasn't necessarily interested in all of them. And then I stringed all of them. I was like, oh wow, I'm stupid. Like, this record's kick ass. So, like you said, Filippo, it's very traditional feeling blues-based jazz, but has the nice, Eastern sounds. Like he later had that album called Eastern Sounds, with Eastern sounds mixed in and textures and that sort of thing. And it's his first lead record, I believe, too, which is kind of neat that he was already exploring that sort of thing at that point.
Yeah, I like this title. I think Yusef does a lot of interesting things on this. I think if you were to sample one track, I would recommend the track Morning. And it's because there's like, to me, it sounds like it's almost like a traditional tenor over top of I don't know, like some exotic kind of foundation that sounds so familiar, but at the same time, I can't think of anybody else producing music like that. I really think he was such a strong personal voice and his own kind of, influences in his compositions that were different than really a lot of like, I think what I think of like is like the mainstream jazz, where obviously he's being influenced by that. And he does play some of that on this, but he also is really exploring things that feel early to me. Like I can hear, like in that song, there's a number of songs that have like this Eastern feel, and I feel like it's almost like precursors to like the later Alice Coltrane and like those types of albums. Like I can hear kind of a similar style there. So
or even earlier, right? You have Brubeck playing Eastern music in '59.
Okay,
he came before Brubeck. Time Out is a Turkish music record.
Yeah. But this predates it. This is 57.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He was ahead.
Oh, yeah. I see what you mean. Yes.
Yeah.
So I think it's a cool record. And also I don't have a copy of it. I streamed it, and I thought it sounded really well recorded. I thought the cymbals sounded really clear. So I would have high expectations for the sonics on this as well. Mm-hmm. So I do have the Discogs up of the first pressing just to see, the first one. So here's the original cover and original back. It comes on the Savoy label. It's got the deep groove. Mm-hmm. And, in terms of like cost and sales on Discogs, it's over 100 median. There are just a few copies available. I won't click into that, but it's not, it's not an easy record to get in very clean condition. There is, that as well. Just throwing that.
What American represses have there been? Like reissues before this one?
Okay, let's see.
Savoy has a few in the 60s and 70s with the Maroon label, but those are very hard to date, actually.
So who knows?
All right, so there's this Survival Research 2022. There's some non-dated versions. So
Yeah.
let's look at this.
Yeah,
Like,
and those will be the maroon labels, which is
yes, this is maybe what, 70s, 80s, something
it's
like
probably
that.
late 60s, 70s. Yeah, because they had Sapphire was bought and sold so many times
Okay.
to Arista, Muse, and many other labels, and they were reissuing some of those, but it's hard today. They were not known the Van Gelder plate work anymore. So
Yeah.
yeah,
But
and
look
so
at this.
yeah.
This one doesn't have a date. No deep groove, but it has this center pressing ring. I'm not sure if you can identify a pressing plant based on that, but people are buying this one. This one has been sold. I mean, last time it was sold was 2022. So, but it's sold for a lot, and the copies available are expensive. So it's a tough record to get.
Yeah.
Now there probably are twofers that have this in it. I'm sure that there's a twofer somewhere that has this material.
Yeah.
Right.
Probably.
Yeah.
So those came out in the 80s, and a lot of those Van Gelder remastered them, and those are good copies to have.
Yeah.
All right, should we keep going?
Yeah.
Next title.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, moving on. Next title, we got Hank Mobley Jazz Message #2. So this is two different sessions, July, November 56, and it was released in 57. This is a Hackensack session for Savoy. You have a couple different lineups. So first lineup is Hank Mobley, Lee Morgan, Hank Jones, Doug Watkins, Art Taylor. And the second lineup is Hank Mobley, Donald Byrd, Barry Harris, Doug Watkins, and Kenny Clark. So two different sessions. Mobley composes, looks like three of the 5 tracks. There's a Thad Jones track, and Doug Watkins has a track as well.
Yeah.
All right. Felipe, what do you think?
I like this record. It's a record that I've been living with for a long time. That's this guy here. I like it. That's a maroon label.
Okay. All right.
That's whatever it is. But it sounds pretty decent.
Yeah.
I'm quite confident this reissue is going to sound much better than that. So it's a record that I recommend to people. It's a very it's not very it's a 57. I think it was released in 58. It's a great session with Hank Mobley. There's 2 different lineups. It kind of reveal the differences in musicians, but I think highlights here are Donald Byrd and Lee Morgan on both sides. Very young Lee Morgan, and already he's kind of maturing. You can see he's maturing there, and this record has so many great songs. I would highlight here. What's the name of it? His composition, Space Flight. Beautiful stretch, great song. It's a record that's hard to see, hard to find, whatever, So I'm really glad that's been putting out by Kraft in this OJC series among the Savoys. Yeah.
Chris, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, me too. I've got the I don't know if, let me see what year it was. I was just looking at it. There's a reissue from '79 called Hard Bop, just Hank Mobley Hard Bop, and it's got most of the songs from this, and then some of the tracks from Message of the volume 1 of this. Basically, it's great. So, I think this is a really cool release. Just excited they're doing Savoy. That's pretty neat. Whether or not I'll buy this one, I have no idea, since I have that, that Hard Bop record that's got 95% or 90% of the tracks on there. So we'll see.
Yeah. This one to me really is probably the closest of the 7 to a Blue Note sounding record.
Yeah.
It has a blue, like, to me, it has a Blue Note feel to it. And yeah, I mean, it's Hank Mobley. So he, if you're familiar with some of that work, I think it carries over here. Yeah, I think I owe it a deeper listen. I don't have a copy of it. So it might be a title that I'd like to pick up. I do love early Hank Mobley. I think he, I think he's always surprising when I listen to him.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So I'd say this record sounds more structured, better planned than even some of his Blue Note blowing sessions, like 1540s or so. Yeah, this record sounds more structured, more soulful, better thought. So yeah, it's a title that I would recommend people to pick up. I don't think that many people have such title, and yeah, recommend.
How does it compare with the Prestige Message records? Those were his too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd have to honestly, I'd have to revisit those to give a good comparison. But I would say I think this session sounds more. I don't know. What do you think, Felipe?
Yeah, I think again, this does not sound like those blowing sessions where they're just like playing. You know, those songs seem to have more of a purpose. There's composition of his. There's a song for Ted Jones by Ted Jones. I think so. Savoy and Prestige, they're both the labels that are trying to make the most out of studio time. They were not very focused on let's make the best music, but let's get the longest recording, the best of recordings, and put it out. So I think on the Savoy side, I think this is a really it's almost sounds like a rehearsed record, almost like that. I think musically, structurally, sounds ahead of the Prestige stuff, of the Prestige green cover. Yeah,
I agree. That's what I suspect. I would have to revisit, but I think from memory that sounds right to me. I was surprised when I sampled this before the show how it sounded. I think it sounds like a pretty killer hard bop session. So
yeah.
No, the only thing though, hang on, these were all recorded in the same year.
Which
yes.
So the Jazz Message of Hank, the Savoy ones were just in '56, and then Mobley's Message, the first one, was in July 20th, 1956.
Yeah.
With almost, I mean, a lot of the players, and then the second message on Prestige was like a week later. So there's some intermixing of players on all of those between Prestige and Savoy. It's pretty interesting.
But I think what might make this one stand out is I think they put a lot of these tracks have a similar style to them, and I think they're grouping them by that kind of hard bop style. So I think maybe that's what I'm hearing is they kind of made a theme for this record.
Yeah, it is more. This record sounds more cohesive for sure.
Yeah. But yeah, it sounds really good. All right, I did want to show what a first pressing goes for. So it is Hank Mobley. All his stuff originals are going to be sought after. So this thing has sold over 1,000 at least one time. But the median's around 150, and the copies online are starting at 225. So expensive original pressing. Yeah. So let's take a look at the original here. So it is the Savoy, same label, Deep Groove. Cover. Do we know who took the cover photo here?
No. Yeah, and that just follows the Savoy's trademark, like terrible covers.
Yeah.
I think Nazi took the picture actually.
Oh yeah, I think there's a credit for him on here somewhere. All right, cool. Should we keep going?
Yeah.
All right. Next one, Art Pepper Surf Ride, Savoy. Yeah. We have session dates starting in 52, 53, and 54 in LA. Okay, so early 50s LA sessions. You have Art Pepper with Jack Montrose on tenor sax, Russ Freeman or Hampton Hawes or Claude Williamson on piano, Monty Budwig, Joe Mondragon or Bob Whitlock on bass, and Larry Bunker or Bob White on drums. So he's composing all except for the first, which is a Lester Young track, and then they do a standard, but the rest are Art Pepper. And I do want to point out the one called Art's Oregano. So Brown Gold, Straight Life, Surf Ride. All right, guys, what do you think of this one?
Well, I think it's like typical Art Pepper, early 50s. I mean, it feels like a comp almost, this record, right? And I think to me the most interesting part is to have him playing with J.R. Montrose. I think the cool things about it, when it's not so hard to come across, not so easy to come across J.R. Montrose stuff all the time, especially some of his Blue Note titles, his Gerald title. So it's nice to see even interplaying with Arc Pepper. So I think it's a great pick, and you can go wrong with Arc Pepper. He's always, very, and it's a pleasure to listen to him. It's a good record, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be picking this one up. This is one of my top couple of the new batch for sure. That was interesting how short all the songs are. It's like they were all made for 78s. They're all around 3 minutes. It's labeled as cool jazz, but it sounds like bebop to me. I mean, he's going crazy on all of this stuff. A lot of stuff's up nice high tempo. Like Straight Life is really high tempo. So yeah, I think this is a really good one. And the cover's awesome. So I think this one will do really well.
Mm-hmm.
So I love this pick. This is early 50s, which early 50s gets overlooked a lot with the reissues, and I understand why. But this is early 50s. LA recordings in the early 50s sounded really good. So it's as early as you can get with some really nice fidelity. West Coast, I think I like this Art Pepper because this Art Pepper reminds me of, you could see how he influenced like Lee Konitz and Warren Marsh in his style. Like he played around with a lot of the same ideas that I think those guys and Tristano were doing. Like they do this like interweaving of horns on this that is really different, and it's kind of something I hear more in the early stuff. And I think it's wonderful. I don't have a copy. I sampled it for the live stream, and I've been getting more into this sound, and this kind of fits right in. I would say I enjoy this Art Pepper more than I enjoy his contemporary stuff. If just brushing with broad strokes, like the earliest stuff, he has so much fire and energy, and the style he plays in with those West Coast guys are just so good. So I think this one definitely check out. I could see how people may not dig the style. I just happen to be really getting into this style right now, so I really kind of appreciate this pick. So this is one I think definitely worth checking out.
Yeah. I think I don't know. I think his style here is straight up, like I said, bebop. Charlie Parker with just less bite. I mean, he was fucking crazy on this record. It's way better than that later contemporary stuff that, to me, like you said. Now his 70s or 80s contemporary stuff's probably
that's
better.
different. Yeah, I don't mean that.
You're talking about like Meets the Rhythm section, Art Pepper plus 11, that kind of shit, right?
Yeah.
I think this is a cut above that too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I mean, it's 52, 53, 54, so it's like, I mean, it's bebop timeline, towards the end there.
It's a transition period. It's quite an interesting period.
Yeah. So let's take a look and see how much we can get an original for. So number one, I didn't do the research here, but I do want to point it out if anybody does. I think the original sessions may not have been recorded for Savoy. There were a number of small West Coast labels in the early 50s that put out Savoy, like Discovery and Jazz West and Tampa. There's like a host. I think some of these tracks were recorded for those. Savoy probably bought the catalog and put it out like this. But let's see what an original Savoy goes for, even though this may not be the first time this material was in LP. So the cheapest one is $422, 6 copies. So that is expensive. So that is really quite expensive. And then the median price, last sold this year, June 2025, median price is $350. So this is an expensive record. All right, should we move on to the next one? And we're gonna do a summary at the end and talk about our top picks and all that stuff too. So let's move on to the next one. We're going to Riverside now.
Hang on real quick. I was just looking something up. Go back to that last one.
Sure.
Ozzy Cadenza was the producer of all 3 of those sessions, and he was a producer for Savoy. So I think they
are Savoy sessions.
They were Savoy sessions, but they weren't like recorded specifically to come out as an album. They pieced all that stuff together.
Was Ozzy okay? All right. Okay. Thanks, Chris.
Yeah. Anyway, let's go.
Cool. All right. So let's move on. We are going to Riverside with Boss Guitar, Wes Montgomery, 1963, Plaza Sound Studio, New York City. Released the same year. We have a trio with Wes on guitar, Melvin Ryan organ, Jimmy Cobb drums, Warren Keep News is the producer. Okay, and we're doing, let's see. So he has a couple compositions on here, and then he's doing a bunch of other stuff. Jerome Kern, Henry Mancini, etc. So Felipe, what do you think of this title?
It's good. I mean, it's not my biggest taste, like jazz guitar. I'm probably going to skip on this one. It's great. I have some Wes Montgomery stuff, but I don't want to have everything. But it's still, I think it's a great record. Like, critically speaking, it's great music there. If you're into jazz guitar, I think that's a great point, and it's probably like a milestone. Should have this one.
Yeah, for me, it's one of my favorite Montgomery records. I've got a Japanese copy that I might replace with this OJC, honestly. But I love that trio format, with organ, guitar, and drums. So I think it's great. Melvin Ryan's an awesome player. I've got his some records he led on Crisscross Jazz later. They're really good. He's got a totally different style than like a Jimmy Smith. So I'd recommend people check this one out.
Yeah, I'm slowly getting into jazz guitar. So I feel like I have a grasp of how the Charlie Christian sound is. And I'm getting into this guy, Oscar Moore, who was part of Nat Cole's trio early on. He's an early guitar player, and he has a couple records himself, and it sounds incredible. Like, the style that he's playing sounds incredible. So I'm making the connections with guitar. I feel like the two instruments I'm focused on now are guitar and vibraphone. And I do want to piece in Wes Montgomery to that. So I am interested in this title. And yeah, I don't know if I'm going to pick it up or not, but I am interested in it, and I will sample it and listen to it because I am kind of exploring early jazz guitar. And I know Wes is, obviously a huge, person on the Mount Rushmore of jazz guitar. So I definitely need to learn a little bit more about him, his style. And I do feel like the early guitar players, to me, it seems like, and this could be totally wrong, but I feel like they all kind of are self-taught, and their styles and how they play are just so different. And it creates like a sound that is really kind of unique. And I feel like that's what I'm starting to appreciate with jazz guitar. Cool. All right, let's take a look and see what an early copy goes for. So we got.
Yeah, real quick, Felipe, I'm going to mute you while you're not talking. There's a lot of feedback coming through.
Yeah, we're getting feedback. I hear it too.
So I'll just unmute you whenever you're talking. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Mike.
cool. So we have Wes Montgomery Boss Guitar, one copy. This is the stereo. So this was put out mono and stereo, assuming this OJC will be stereo. And you can get it. There's one copy available for about $50. And it seems like, it's not a particularly expensive record when it comes up for sale. They probably pressed a lot of them.
There's also an OJC of this that's super cheap, probably.
Yeah, this is the mono. Mono is also very affordable too. I bet it's that there's organ on this. I feel like people dismiss organ records. Not everybody, of course, but I do feel like that could turn people off. There is this alt cover. What do you think of that cover, Chris?
What do you think about that cover, Felipe? Isn't that awesome?
It's amazing.
All right. I don't know where the OJC is. Where's the OJC? Oh, here it is. OJC 1986. You get a copy for $13.
Yeah.
$16.
Yeah.
So anyway, so that's Wes Montgomery. They've done a couple Wes Montgomery now, right? They've done The Incredible Jazz Guitar of Wes Montgomery, and then our buddy at Kraft, Nick Phillips, put out the that live set. I forget the venue name, but there's a good number of them you can get now. All right, you guys ready? What's that?
What's the one that Chad did, Felipe? The live Wes Montgomery record on Verve.
At the half note?
Yeah, half note. Yeah, that's what the other one was too. That that Zev put out. It was the same place.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we have 3 more to go, so let's keep going. We have Red Garland Quintet Soul Junction. So this is Prestige number 7181. This is a 1957 session at Hackensack, New Jersey. It was released 1960, so a few years later. It's one group with Red Garland piano, John Coltrane tenor sax, Donald Byrd trumpet, George Joyner bass, and Art Taylor drums. And they do 2 Dizzy Gillespie tracks here, Woody and You and Burke's Works. They do Soul Junction, which is a long 15-minute song. And then they do a couple standards here. All right, Chris, what do you think?
So this is my number 1 record to pick up from this set. I think for sure. It's the same session as All Morning Long Prestige that Chad put out, and that one's one of my favorite Prestige records ever recorded. So I'm super excited for this one. The first track's fucking nuts. It's 15 minutes long, and it starts off with Red Garland just playing, just soloing for 6-7 minutes, and then Coltrane pops in, and then Byrd shows up, and it's the whole track is absolutely ridiculously kick ass. So yeah, this is a killer choice.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Felipe.
All right. Yeah. I think it's one of the top titles in the whole sequence there, and you pointed really well, Chris. It comes from the same session as All Morning Long, right? With Coltrane and Donald Byrd. Yeah, here's a copy.
Yes.
And that's a Bergenfield because 7181. So it's beautiful. I like the first composition too, Chris. 15 minutes, great Red Garland. But I think some of the highlights here, again, as in All Morning Long, are the horns, Coltrane, Donald Byrd, and you can already hear some Coltrane doing some sheets there.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an interesting record, very inspired. It's a must grab from this whole bunch for sure. Great record.
Yeah, I was. I don't have a copy. I was streaming it, and it felt the same way. It's incredibly good. The thing is, what I was thinking is that there are so many Coltrane Red Garland records, different players that are so good, and it's like I seriously have like maybe 8 of them. Like, do I need this one? I don't like you said, it's the same group as All Morning Long, but it's just that Coltrane. Yeah, we've said this on the channel before. We made an early Coltrane video. Like his Prestige stuff, some people are not into, but man, he is just incredibly good at playing hard bop. Like just unbelievably good. And
I mean, this is like right before Blue Train, right?
Yeah, I guess that'd be right. Blue Train was what, Felipe?
Blue Train it was February 58, if I'm not mistaken.
58. Okay, yeah. So this was November 57.
Yeah. So I think a great point in this record too is the fact that they are playing some music that is kind of pointing to the future, as in Coltrane's example, but they're playing this bebop songs as well, right? So which I think they're kind of looking back a little bit and getting a great mix and a great result out of this.
Yeah. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was just gonna shout out, like, I don't know. There's a lot of jam session records on Prestige, but the Garland composed sessions, I do feel like are some of my favorites because, like you said, Chris, it almost is. It's a trio for the first 7 minutes, and then all of a sudden a tenor sax comes in, and he gets all the space he needs. Like the way that Red Garland, it's like so classy how he is able to compose for each instrument in terms of like just giving them the space to be so well, I don't know, like supported and defined. It really, to my ear, it's like a notable difference in his compositions.
Yeah, I mean, Red Garland's one of the best comp and piano players that ever played the piano. Absolutely. I mean, every Red Garland record I have, that's especially the Prestige stuff, is just kind of a cut above a lot of the other stuff that was on that label at the time. Coltrane coming in, that track was kind of amazing, but Donald Byrd, the energy he comes in with is just like a fucking smokestack, just explosion, man. It's fucking nuts. So good. So good.
It's really good. It is really good. And they do some Dizzy tracks on this, so I love that.
So I was saying bebop stuff, and it's interesting because most of these records they were talking about, they are from '57, right? If not all, almost all of them.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, it seemed like Bob Weinstock recorded endless Coltrane.
Well, yeah, he knew what he had on his hands. Well, they did. I was reading about. There's another session or another record from that same session. Has two tracks. And some other tracks from a session later that year that was from this session. So he was such a cheap bastard. He would just record as much shit as he could. And then, if you can pay for one session and get 2.5 records out of it, you're making more money. So,
but Coltrane's got to be on a lot of those 50, like 57. He was in Hackensack like all the time.
Yeah.
Which you got to think, like, in terms of his formation and getting a feel for studio, like that was a great. I'm sure that like those were great experiences.
I think it's in Adam's book, and I think it's from Tenor Madness when Sonny was recording Tenor Madness. Coltrane was actually sleeping in the parking lot, and they wanted to finish a song. They just brought him in. That's kind of how he operated.
It's pretty awesome.
So this is a great one for sure. I think like I was thinking like this one and the Hank Mobley, they're two like of the hard bop style in this group, and I feel like they'll probably do pretty well. I think a lot of people love that style. So so if I'd recommend both of those for everybody. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what original pressing goes for. So Felipe, your original pressing. Let's see. It's the Bergenfield, right? Because it's 1960 release. The median's 175. There are a lot of copies online. I'm sure there's a variety of grading, but let's just see what a VG Plus goes for, since there's so many.
Yeah, I think this one is not hard to find, right?
It ain't $50 though.
So a VG Plus is $250.
Yeah.
Starting right now, and then the VG is $175.
Buy the reissue. Don't be a fool.
So when you get down to G Plus, that's when you can get to like under $100 for this one. But there are a lot of copies.
Yeah.
Meaning that you might get lucky if you wait and spot one in the wild. But yeah, I agree with Chris. This would be a great option. Cool.
Like most people, Roberto.
Yeah, I got a lot of books I haven't started yet.
Also, there was a great comment that all of these sessions I think were recorded at Hackensack except for the Art Pepper. Is that right? I don't know. Somebody mentioned it. Okay, let's keep moving. All right, now we do have another jam session-y record. So this is After Hours with Thad Jones.
Well, the previous one, Red Garland led that one, didn't he? It wasn't really a jam session. Wasn't it his group?
Yeah, that's fair. I guess, when the tracks are like 15 minutes, it's just like it's jammy.
I don't know. This one's the definition of the jam session.
This one was like the Prestige All Stars.
Yeah.
Okay.
As they were known, yeah. It was reissued right after as a Kenny Burrell record, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I agree with that. I think you're right, Chris. So 57 Hackensack, Bob Weinstock production, Thad Jones trumpet, Frank Wess flute and tenor sax, Mal Waldron piano, Kenny Burrell guitar, Paul Chambers bass, and Art Taylor drums. Engineer is Rudy Van Gelder. There are 4 tracks: Steamin', Blue Jelly, Count One, and Empty Street. They're all around like 10 minutes or so. So this is After Hours. What do you guys think? Oh, you're muted, Felipe.
No, Chris, you can go ahead.
Oh, so I'm gonna get this one actually. It's hard for me to pass up these prestiges, man. Especially these specific ones. I don't know. They made some really good choices with these. I love the other jam session, Prestige All-Star sessions I have. And this one opens up with just a super bombastic drum solo to start the whole record off. So I'll be getting this one for sure.
Yeah. Well, I might. Not sure yet. It's a blowing session, right? So I'm kind of I'm not so sure about it. Let's see. I'm gonna listen to it more carefully and see if I want it. But I mean, the music is great. Hard bop, very direct, straightforward. People who are into it, that's great. I'm just being more selective on hard bop records lately.
Now hold on. If I were to convince you to get this, I think the strongest point is that Thad Jones is on trumpet. I mean, it's Thad Jones in this small group setting in this style. I mean, he has just a great tone. He's got to be one of my top 3 trumpet players.
No, it is great.
It remains unconvinced.
Yeah, I need to give it a second. I'm a trumpet more. I'm like a Wadada Smith these days. That's okay.
I do have. This is actually really nice. This is a reissue with a different cover.
That's the one I was talking about. It was reissued as a Kenny Burrell record. Yeah.
So it's Frank Wess with Kenny Burrell, Steamin'. Yeah. It's the same metalwork, RVG, and it's mono, so it's the original plates. So, but yeah, I have this, and it sounds wonderful. I remember how excited I was when I got this, and sometimes like records have like a magic sound, and I remember this one having that. It's just like super clear and just kind of an incredible like Hackensack recording. So anyway, and then I got my nerdy note on the back. But yeah, no, I do like this session. But I agree with Felipe. Like, if you already have 15 jam session records by Prestige,
they didn't make 15 jam session records, I don't think.
No, they made 51 probably.
No, they didn't.
Well, by my definition, if you're including Red Garland Quintet,
you're not
15-minute tracks.
Yeah.
Then you got a lot.
We still need to make that video so we can make the official list of the jam session Prestige records, Mike.
Oh yeah.
We've only been talking about doing it for 3 years.
Yeah, that was one of the early ideas.
Yeah.
I have like an old thumbnail of it.
Yeah.
So we're referring to, we were going to do a review of Prestige jam session records and kind of help define what it is and what albums it includes. We thought it'd be pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, all right, Chris and Felipe, should we move on? Oh, actually, let's take a look at what an original goes for. Okay. So this is the first pressing. This is on the 50th Street, New York City. So the early label. And, medium price is $160. There's 7 copies available. And let's just take a look what they're going for. So a VG starts at $450. So there you go. All right. So enjoy that. Enjoy getting one of these. If you're going to spend $450 on a record, there's no way I'd want it to be VG.
No, and buy a Blue Note.
You got to have that as like mint if you're spending that kind of money.
Oh yeah.
Dude, if I spend $450 on a record, it's gonna have to mix drinks and wipe my ass for me. Like, that's just not gonna happen, dude. There's no way.
You're smarter. You're smarter than I am, Chris. All right. We have one more title, and then we'll do a summary. So this is Sonny Rollins plus 4. Mm-hmm. This is a 56 Hackensack session, Bob Weinstock production. I won't go into the history, but I do encourage people to jump in here and give this a look because it does have a pretty cool story. And the group is Sonny Rollins, Clifford Brown, Max Roach, Richie Powell, and George Morrow. They are doing 2 Rollins compositions, and it looks like some standards as well. So, Felipe, tell us all about this one.
Oh, that's an amazing record. I'm going to be short on the story here. Again, Roberto, or whoever bought the freaking book, just read the freaking book, okay? That's a very interesting story because he was playing with the Max Roach Quintet. he was playing with Prestige. So Sonny Rollins is a guy that up to this day, I mean, throughout his career, he never liked to be tied to a record label and a contract. So he was going from label to label and just doing his stuff, contemporary, Blue Note, Prestige, whatever. So on this one, he was playing with a quintet, and he had to record a session for Prestige. But because those other guys, they were not with Prestige, they were with MRC, right? So he had to call the record like this, and Max Roach did not appreciate that much. So and that's where the record Max Roach +4 comes from. It was kind of retribution to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And one factoid here is I've done the research, and this is the only time that Rudy Van Gelder recorded Clifford Brown in his Hackensack studio. He did also record Clifford Brown at Birdland on Blue Note, but that's a live set. This is the only Hackensack Clifford Brown recording.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, this record is fire. It's so good, just maybe even better than the Max Roach record. Yeah, those guys playing top shape there. It's a highly recommended title. It's a hard to find title. I mean, there are multiple pressings, but I think in a high end, it's going to be like an original, a very nice and clean Japanese one, or just get this one now. It's a record that I'm certainly grabbing. It's a record that I like, and I have a CD copy of this.
Yeah, I have the OJC right here. They put out back in the 80s. So that's a good record. I'll probably just keep this copy. I don't think I need another one. This one sounds pretty damn good. For the recording, it's interesting. I don't know if this was the best sounding recording out of all the ones Rudy ever did, but
I agree. I agree with that.
I think it sounds kind of recording wise, but it's a great record.
Yeah, I think that opinion is shared. I've spoken with other people about that, and they feel the same way. I think my surprise was that since Max Roach is on it, and it's kind of his group, even though Sonny Rollins has the title here, they didn't really mic his drums all that well. It starts with like a drum roll or drum solo, like a little drum solo, and it doesn't sound that great. And then everybody comes in and it starts sounding pretty good. But I do
think you should like it, Mike, because I think it sounds like all the old shit you listen to already to begin with. So,
well, context matters, Chris. Context matters. I do have this is the 58 repress with the alt cover. This is a Reed Miles cover. The previous one, the cover is by Tom Hannon. And Tom Hannon did a number of Prestige covers in 56 only. He did maybe like 15 or so of them.
Yeah.
I like the Reed Miles one. I mean, I like both of them, honestly. But the Reed Miles one is cool. And this is where do I have it here? This is the Bergenfield 58 Abbey pressing. And it sounds great. I really enjoy this one. So I'm really happy with it.
So you won't be buying this then?
I will not be buying this. So the After Hours Thad Jones I have, and then I have this one already. So I won't be buying either of those. So
what are your top three, Felipe? Do you have three of these seven that are the best?
Soul Junction. I recommend the Yusef Lateef and the Sonny Rollins as the top best ones there, in my opinion, as a body of work. Okay. But I think given recent announcements, I mentioned the Muse, of course. The Muse announcement was great. I'm talking about, some verbs and some stuff out there. This is solid. I think if you're like into collecting, getting all this stuff, you can just buy all those without any hesitation there. These are essential titles. In this sea of reissues that we have these days, everything sounds like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. I think this is a very solid lineup. Titles that they have a little bit of everything for everyone, and for the completists in a certain series, easily get all of them if you like. If you're collecting those, if not, there's going to be something for you there. Yeah.
Chris, what are your top three?
Let me see. So, Soul Junction's number one. And then probably Surf Ride and After Hours, probably. I mean, Jazz Mood's up there too. But I've got the Boss guitar and I've got the Sonny Rollins +4. So yeah, basically the Soul Junction After Hours and Surf Ride is top 3.
All right. I think for me, I was just thinking about Surf Ride. Tone Poet just put out that Art Pepper intro album as well, which I can't remember what the year is on that. I want to say that it's like 54, but maybe it's earlier. So I think the Surf Ride might be earlier than the Tone Poet.
Yeah.
Anyway, I would say my top 2 are Surf Ride and the Yusef Lateef. And I say that my decision making here is, out of all of these, which style and players do I not have as much of? And I really don't have much Yusef Lateef. And I think that there are a number of tracks on this album that I really do like. And I think that would make me put that up to the top. Also, same with Art Pepper. I don't have early Art Pepper, and those records go for lots and lots of money. So I would say, for something different in my collection and something I'm getting into, that style, I would say Surf Ride 2. So those are my top 2. And the other ones I already have After Hours and Sonny Rollins, so that's off the table for me.
Yeah.
Out of the other 3, I would say that it's a tie between Soul Junction and the Hank Mobley. I think they're both really good in their own ways. Maybe Soul Junction I like a little better. Maybe Soul Junction I put just a notch above it. And then poor Wess Montgomery follows that up. So that's how I'm breaking it down.
Yeah. Cool. But I think it's pretty solid. Again, it's great news in this sea of reissues that are kind of questionable these days. I want to say questionable, but it's too much. You got to be able to refine, and this is a solid list, I think.
Well, I think it's better than. I think it's more interesting to me than some of the earlier lists of releases. Like
yes. I even think OJC has been doing great titles, but yes, there were releases that were ups and downs, kind of also like a little questionable, but I think they're kind of getting their thing together there. I wonder when more Savoy is gonna come, like the Curtis Fuller stuff. Bird's Word is a title that should be out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Both the Curtis Fuller's Imagination and Bluesette.
Bluesettes, yes.
Got it. If they do Bluesette, yeah, I have a copy of it, and I would still get another copy.
Bluesette would be interesting because I've got a Japanese copy, and it just sounds boring. Like the mastering is just kind of
Yeah. I have one of those. What are they, like the purple oxblood looking labels? What are they called? Maroon. Thank you. I have a maroon label. It's not RVG, but it does have X20, so I think it is original metalwork. I'm not totally sure. It sounds okay, but it would be cool to get. I think that would be a great one to reissue. It's like $1,000 record.
Yeah. So, but I think I still think Bird's Word is a record that needs to be out there. The record's so good.
Yeah, I agree with that. I from time to time look to see if there's a copy that's affordable, because it is a beautiful, like it's got the glossy jacket. I mean, it's the whole package.
That's all. Yeah, that's a heavy record.
Yeah, man, that's a great. It's like, I think at WFMU last year I saw a copy for like, it's like $400 or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's crazy. So, but yeah. So all right, well that's it. So there's 7 titles. Let us know which titles you are most interested in the comments below, and we'll see you guys next time.
See you Friday.
See ya.
See you. Thank you.